I set that up.
This week on At the Movies with Ebert and Roeper, Steve Carell, Anne Hathaway, and The Rock get smart.
Wally, Earth is in trouble.
Plus, from the makers of The Incredibles, Finding Nemo and Cars comes Wall-E, and we've got the early reviews.
You are now free to move about the cabin.
How do I know you're not Control?
If I were Control, you'd already be dead.
If you were Control, you'd already be dead.
Neither of us is dead, so I'm obviously not from Control.
That actually makes sense.
A bumbling secret agent makes his way to the big screen. I'm Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune.
Yes, and a couple of bumbling critics are back here in the balcony. I'm Richard Roeper. Thanks to Steve Carell, Anne Hathaway, and some really funny material. Get Smart is one of the more pleasant surprises of the year. Now, from Bewitched to the Flintstones to Car 54, Where Are You? Some of the worst movies I've ever seen have been adaptations of TV shows from the 60s, but Get Smart is the happy exception to that rule. Steve Carell's Maxwell Smart strikes just the right balance between utter buffoon and resourceful secret agent.
These darts are tipped with a potent tranquilizer derived from the skin of an Amazonian lizard known as Los Zapatos de la Muerte, the shoes of death. They're 40 yards out. That's definitely the edge of my range. I'm going to have to give this one a little something extra.
He's enough of a dope for us to laugh at him, but enough of a likable guy for us to root for him.
Missed it by that much.
Anne Hathaway has gone from ingenue to utter knockout. She displays some pretty good comedic timing as Agent 99. We also get some nice work from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Agent 23, and especially Alan Arkin as the Chief.
I'm very much aware of how difficult it is to make the transition to office life.
No, Chief, he didn't unjam the copier. Now, we have rules here, you know that. And if you don't follow the rules, then what are we?
I'll tell you what we're not. We're not people who jam staples into other people's heads. That's CIA crap.
Get Smart pays tribute to the Cold War origins of the TV show while creating a whole new spoof universe for the characters. It even kind of works as an action thriller with some impressive stunt work and special effects. Mostly, though, it's funny as hell. So many of the setups and sight gags would fall flat in less skilled hands, but director Peter Siegel and screenwriters Tom J. Assel and Matt Ember provide a clever comedic blueprint. And the talented cast, they nailed just about every joke. I even believed in the romance between Max and 99, so I say see it!
I say skip it, Richard.
What?
You are overselling this like you're on commission or something. I mean, I'm with you on the cast.
I resent that.
Well, I've seen your contract. Commission's in there. But anyway, I'm totally with you on the cast.
Yeah.
I would not recast any of the leads. I mean, Carell's very good. Hathaway, you know, one of the real bright lights of Devil Wears Prada. And Alan Arkin, I agree, is the best thing, in fact, one of the only really solid things in this picture.
So what's your problem with the film? So far, you're agreeing with me.
Everything
really good
else,
cast.
Yeah, everything else. In fact, this idea of it being a really funny comedy, I don't even think they were going for a comedy.
Of course they were going for a comedy.
Hold on.
Oh, come on.
And these are the failure to launch guys, right? The guys that gave us Failure to Launch, the romantic comedy. I don't think this film is really any funnier than that film.
Oh, no,
and hold on.
That.
The director, Peter Segal, I mean, he's trying to kind of create an action picture universe with, you know, without any real winks and things like that. I appreciate that up to the point where none of the sight gags start working. And I got to say, I did not have any real sense of fun with this thing.
Well, Michael, I mean, that's one of the things I liked about this movie. When we got the action stuff, they spent some money, so there's some fun stunt work. There are still laughs interspersed throughout, and the byplay, the chemistry between Hathaway and Carell, very good. I'm not saying it's Knocked Up or Superbad or Forgetting Sarah Marshall, some of my favorite comedies of recent years, but it's a solid B-plus effort. There's some good stuff here, and compared to a lot of the stuff we've seen them do with good TV shows where they just drive it into the ground.
To me,
I had a good time.
I felt it just like this as I did about the Starsky and Hutch film with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. You know, there's a scene early on, Richard, you remember, where Alan Arkin gets clocked in the head with a fire extinguisher, and then Maxwell starts swinging.
Stuff.
Okay, no. In fact, no. That's not even a sight gag. That's just physical violence that might have been funnier in different hands, but here I just felt sorry for the actors.
You know, in this case, I think you missed it by that much.
That much, really? The movie missed it more like...
Funny movie.
More like
funny
this.
Movie.
More like this.
Let's move on.
Okay, next up is Kittredge, An American Girl, and it almost makes up for the movie version of Bratz. Remember Bratz, those little tramps? Anyway, this one proves that a very profitable line of 18-inch dolls can make for an entertaining and gentle-hearted G-rated picture. Abigail Breslin of Little Miss Sunshine come to think of it, we have half the cast of Little Miss Sunshine on this show.
Yes, we do.
She plays Little Miss Kittredge, who is living a comfortable middle-class life in 1934 Cincinnati. Then comes the harsh reminder that in the Depression, the wolf is never far from the door.
Francis, look! That's your bed! What does that mean? Foreclosure by order of the bank? That means the bank's taking our house away. Ruthie, isn't that your father's bank? Can you ask your father to give it back?
Soon Kit's dad, played by Chris O'Donnell, is out of work himself and off on his own, and Kit's mom, played by Julia Ormond, is taking in boarders, including the exotic eccentrics played by Stanley Tucci and Joan Cusack. There's been a rash of robberies, and everyone's quick to blame them on the increasing number of hobos in the area.
But they say there's been a slew of hobo robberies.
Well, not all hobos are alike.
They've been ransacking people's homes and mugging them in broad daylight. Really, something should be done. Well, there's talk of running them out of town.
They are ransacking people's homes. I wonder if it's not a bad idea if we don't lock up our valuables.
The movie, directed by Patricia Rozema, may be borderline sticky sweet, but it has a lot of things going for it. Namely, it has a real sense of decency and of honest sentiment. I mean, look, your kids see enough of the usual bratty, sarcastic nonsense that passes for family entertainment these days. Kittredge belongs to a different storytelling world entirely. And while it's certainly a modest film, I say see it. It opens in limited release this weekend and opens wider July 2nd. I liked it.
I'm right with you, Michael. I say see it as well.
All right.
Who knew there was such hobophobia in the 30s? So there's quite a lesson
very
here.
Homophobic.
And you know, the American Girl stories, I went to an expert on this, my 8-year-old goddaughter, and I said, you know, this is kind of serious material. And she says, wait until you see the one about the runaway slave girl. I mean, you know, they take on real subjects in a serious manner, but ultimately very sweet and uplifting. And I think, you know, this film is very well directed, and you have some really funny performances from the adult actors, Stanley Tucci, Joan Cusack in particular, where, you know, they're kind of mugging for the kids, but that's fine. It's good in a movie like this. I really enjoyed this film.
Yeah, and I think just for me it comes back to some sort of sense of, you know, honesty and decency, and it's this kind of, it's much less high pressure than so many kids' entertainments out there. And, you know, yeah, is it a documentary on depression life? No. But, and it's got that sort of hallmark honeyed quality, but, you know, there's something about it that all basically works for
But
the
also
story.
I think a surprising dose of realism, and, you know, the whole idea of these dolls, or this line of dolls, I guess, is to, you know, teach the girls, well, it's the whole idea of the line of dolls is to sell the dolls, let's face it, but also to give history lessons, and I think this is, you know, you're so right. Films like this are few and far between. You know, you use that term family fare, and people go, ooh, I don't want to see that, but this is a very well-made film. I liked it a lot.
No, I liked it quite a bit.
All right, later in the show, will it be the biggest blockbuster of the summer? We've got an early review of Wall-E. A cute little robot saved the human race. We'll review Pixar's Wall-E next.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The new Pixar feature, Wall-E, is easily one of the summer's peak achievements. It's a very special example of feature-length animated storytelling that holds kids and adults alike in a state of wonderment. Wall-E opens next week. This is an early review. Now, it's not all peaches and cream and sunshine and lollipops. The first half hour or so of director Andrew Stanton's feature is surprisingly trenchant science fiction. It's like I Am Legend for the Juicebox gang. It's also practically dialogue-free. We're 800 years in the future. Earth has become an uninhabitable garbage heap. Only Wall-E, a waste allocation load lifter Earth class, is left to collect the trash. Soon, though, Wall-E and his sole earthly companion, a cockroach, are joined by a visitor searching for plant life. She's Eve, and after a rough introduction, these two bond over Wall-E's favorite movie musical, Hello, Dolly. That sounds crazy, but the idea works, like most everything in Wall-E. Finally, Wall-E and Eve join up with a space cruise ship loaded with blobby, perpetually reclining humans waiting for the go-ahead to return to their home planet. Wall-E's welcome lacks the personal touch.
Just a trim. You look gorgeous.
Now, will the kids who dug Finding Nemo, director Stanton's previous assignment, or Cars, or Monsters, Inc., fall for Wall-E just as hard? I hope so, but just like last summer's Pixar feature, Ratatouille, Wall-E is a rich and visually sophisticated achievement for any age. And if I haven't made myself clear by now, Richard, I say see it. It's lovely.
Michael, I say see it as well. I share your views, especially about the first half hour. You know, as I'm watching it, and I'm really admiring the skill and the animation and the deliberate storytelling, I'm thinking, well, there are a lot of kids going to be jumping up and down and getting pretty restless here. And it's pretty stark and forbidding, but of course, I think that makes the love story and the adventure once they're up in space that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, and the total shift doesn't feel jarring or cheap. It feels very well considered.
It's a beautiful story, but yeah, it has some darker elements and some stranger things that I think some kids might have a hard time embracing.
It's a long way from Finding Nemo in terms of tone, and it doesn't have the real emotional punch, I guess, of that picture, but I found it very kind of enveloping in a way. I think if kids give it any kind of a chance and they can kind of adjust their rhythm at all, they're really going to be taken away by this thing.
Yeah, there's certainly a sweet element here, almost a corny romance, but it's very well done. This film does like Hello Dolly a lot more than I did. I got a little tired. I got a little tired of the Hello Dolly stuff, my friend.
It's the most respect ever afforded that movie by anybody.
But this is, I agree with you, one of the best movies of the year, just so beautifully done. They always do it at Pixar.
Yeah, it's funny about the tie-in element too, because in a way this movie's very anti-consumerist, and it's got kind of an inconvenient truth message.
There are a lot of movies that are anti-consumer where you can still get the the fun souvenir.
I think the sequel, if it's set 800 years further in the future, will be a lot of like a Wall-E tie-in toys.
I like that.
Waiting to be cleaned up.
Well, and I want the toys from this next movie actually. This is switching gears quite a bit. You got to leave the kids at home for this one and bring your taste for blood, because that blood spills and worlds are conquered in the thrilling, violent, beautiful epic Mongol. This is the History Channel on steroids. It's the story of Genghis Khan's rise to power, and it's part history, part fable. This is Lawrence of Arabia meets Braveheart. Filming in some of the most stunning locales in the world, the Russian director Sergei Bodrov portrays Khan as a visionary and even something of a humanitarian. Known as Temujin in his youth, Khan is a fearsome warrior, but also a compassionate leader. Unlike most of his rivals, he's a man of honor. Now, to be sure, this is a movie version of the 12th century. There's always another soap opera development or perfectly choreographed bloody battle around the corner. This Genghis Khan is part gladiator, part near-feminist family man. He's also really good at riding horses and slicing, dicing, and killing opponents to death, death, death. The action sequences here are first-rate. The performances uniformly excellent, and the cinematography, well, that's as good as I've seen in any film this year. Michael, see it.
I would say I liked it enough to rent it, but I wouldn't say it's really anything in this David Lean kind of category of epic filmmaking.
Oh, come on.
It's not now. I think it's worth saying.
Amazing sequences.
I would say this, though. Can you honestly remember with any clarity any real details about any of the battle scenes? Because those are the heart of the picture, and I don't know if other than just sort of,
you know what?
They
good
follow
in the great entertaining tradition of movies like Braveheart and Gladiator, where you have hundreds of warriors going at it, but the two main rivals always meet in the middle.
I got no problem with the
battle everybody else.
I'm not talking about plausible. That's a boring argument.
Beautifully done. Great bloody killing going on here.
It was an absorbing soap opera. I liked it. It's better than the John Wayne version of The Conqueror back in 1956. I think slightly better. And it is great. It does have some real sweep, and it does pull you through. And I'd say it's a renter for me, a strong one.
No, don't listen to him. Go see it in the theaters. Okay, coming up, an Oscar-worthy performance in what I think is the best movie of the year so far. And you know what? Adam Carolla has a movie too. That's in our video segment. But first, here's a look at what's coming up over the next few weeks.
Are we going to bond now? Would you like to?
This is perfect. You telling me to go to rehab.
Cheers. You save people's lives every single day. People should love you.
I look like I care what people think.
All right, looking at movies new on DVD. Michael, perhaps the only person in the known universe who liked 10,000 BC. I say skip it. We both say you can skip Charlie Bartlett, and I say you can skip the Spiderwick Chronicles. I do have two movies for you. My favorite movie of the year so far, In Bruges, is now out on DVD, and I think Brendan Gleeson gives an Oscar-worthy performance here. And a little movie from Adam Carolla called The Hammer, which I like quite a bit as well. It works as a kind of Rocky-esque story and actually a surprisingly effective love story. So two really good, smaller films, if you will, on DVD this week.
My DVD pick is definitely Maybe, which stars Ryan Reynolds as a divorced father who's telling his young daughter, played by Abigail Breslin, again, Abigail Breslin, the story of the key women in his life so far. It's modest and certainly contrived, but when you look at certain romantic comedies this year, Maid of Honor, What Happens in Vegas, these that have found a sizable audience, well, by comparison, Definitely Maybe is definitely worth an hour and 45 minutes of your incalculably valuable time.
Compared to those movies, this is Annie Hall. I mean, you know, I liked it as well.
It's Some Like It Hot.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's Trouble in Paradise.
It's a good film. So, Definitely Maybe, In Bruges and The Hammer will be in stores on Tuesday.
Okay, and we'll be back with my picks for 3 to see, the best 3 movies in theaters, right after this.
All right, recapping the movies on this week's show. Get Smart. I say see it. He says skip it. Kittredge, An American Girl, we both say. Wall-E, though, is wonderful. We both say see it. It opens next week. And Mongol, I say see it. Michael says wait to rent it.
Rent it. I think it's a fair assessment. Rent it, yes.
All right.
Now, it's time for 3 to see. My picks for the best 3 movies in theaters right now. Number 3, Kittredge, An American Girl. Gentle, sincere, and these are 2 qualities you don't get much in G-rated pictures. Number 2, The Incredible Hulk. Not gentle in any way, but sincere and an entertaining comic book headbanger. And number 1, Kung Fu Panda, proof that sometimes old formulas can be reworked with style and punch. Look, that is looking better every week.
Yeah, and with Kung Fu Panda, Kittredge, and the upcoming Wall-E, some good stuff for folks to take their kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, that's it for this week. Until next week, the balcony is closed.
It's Discover America Pancakes at IHOP. Try mouth-watering Maine blueberry, Kansas carrot cake, and California strawberry.
Pass the syrup.
IHOP. Come hungry, leave happy.
From Jennifer, get 2 microfiber recliners for just $2.99. It's the lowest price ever. Both recliners for $2.99. More comfort, more value. Jennifer Convertibles.
What's in here is what's in here. Real peaches, fresh cream, Breyer's all natural, extraordinary taste.
Goodbye bag clips. Hello, snack and seal packages. The newest way to keep these Chips Ahoy cookies tasting fresh.